Hello, and welcome to Next Cradle, dedicated to helping you navigate the tough, practical, and emotional decisions that come after 60. And if you're feeling a sense of loss for a future you thought was certain, you are in the right place. Before we dive in, just take a moment to like this video. It's a quiet, simple way to let others watching know they aren't the only ones feeling this way.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really specific, a kind of grief that's hitting millions of people over 60, especially in the world we're living in right now.
Okay, let's start right here, because this is the core idea. When we hear the word grief, we usually think about losing a person, but it's so much bigger than that. It's that feeling you get when the future you've been planning for just evaporates. When your routines, your home, your sense of safety, when all of that gets shaken up.
So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why this feeling is so widespread at this moment. And more importantly, we'll lay out a clear, practical way for you to get a handle on it.
All right, so why does the ground feel so unstable all of a sudden? Well, for a lot of people, it starts with this constant, nagging feeling of financial pressure.
You know, this isn't just a feeling, it's right there in the data. The Federal Reserve shows that the number of people who feel financially okay has dropped, and pretty noticeably in just the last few years. And when your budget is always being squeezed, when prices for everything just keep going up, it makes every single other stress in your life feel 10 times heavier. And this financial pressure, it leads directly to one of the biggest and, frankly, one of the most emotional decisions an older adult can ever face: the decision about whether or not to move. Just look at this number from AARP. It is staggering. Nearly half. Think about that. Moving is no longer some fringe idea for a few people. It's a mainstream, serious consideration. The plan that so many people had to age in place has suddenly turned into a question of, can we even afford to stay here?
And the why behind it all? It's crystal clear. This isn't about chasing some fantasy retirement. For most people, it's about the absolute basics. The number one driver is the price of their rent or their mortgage. It's a decision that's being forced by the bottom line.
And here's where it gets so tough. The choice to move might be completely logical. It might even be the smartest financial decision you can make. But the emotional hit is so real. You're not just leaving a building, you're leaving a whole life. Your trusted doctor, your neighbors, your favorite coffee shop, that right there is a profound loss. Okay, so on top of housing, there's another fear, one that for many looms even larger. And that is the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. You know, you see these numbers and they might seem manageable one by one, but if you're on a fixed income, every single dollar counts. That Part B premium just keeps climbing. And that Medicare Advantage out-of-pocket max, that's almost $9,000 you could have to pay before you even start talking about your prescriptions. It just creates this constant, low-level hum of anxiety. And look, data from the Kaiser Family Foundation shows this isn't just anxiety, it's the reality for millions. A third of older adults say they have a hard time paying for their care. 1 in 5 are already carrying medical debt. So this isn't some problem for down the road. It's happening right now. And then there's this number. This is the one that really shocks people. The median cost for assisted living for 1 year. And probably the biggest misconception out there is that Medicare will take care of this. It almost never does. This is the kind of expense that can just vaporize a lifetime of savings in a couple of years. And for a nursing home, it's even more breathtaking. When you're staring down numbers like these, it can make you feel completely powerless. It can force you into choices you never, ever wanted to make, like selling the family home. That's the grief we're talking about. The grief of watching a future you worked so hard for just get completely turned on its head.
So when you're faced with all this pressure, how do you cope? How do you get through it? Especially when you have to make these massive decisions with a partner. This is where understanding that we all have different ways of handling stress becomes absolutely critical.
Just think about it for a second. When you feel that wave of overwhelm coming, what is your first instinct? Is it to find someone and talk through all your feelings? Or is it to grab a pen and paper and immediately start making a list of things to do? There is no wrong answer here.
And that question leads us to this really, really helpful idea. On one side, you have intuitive coping, which is all about the feelings. On the other, you have instrumental coping, which is all about action.
And the most important thing to get here is that neither one is better than the other. They are just two different but equally valid ways of processing the exact same stress.
So here's how it looks in real life. One of you wants to sit down and talk through all the fears about the rise in costs. The other one immediately opens up a laptop to build a spreadsheet and research movers. It can feel like you're on two different planets. But the truth is, you are both grieving the same lost plan. You are both showing you care, just in your own language. And honestly, just being able to name it, to say, oh, you're in instrumental mode and I'm in intuitive mode, that can diffuse so much tension.
Okay, so we get the pressures, we understand our coping styles. Now what? Let's build a path forward. Let's talk about a concrete 90-day plan to help you get back a sense of control.
This is your roadmap. First, just agree on the non-negotiables. What are you absolutely protecting? Health, safety, savings. Then face the numbers head on. No more guessing. After that, you've got to pressure test your housing options. What are the real costs and benefits? Next, proactively plan out your support network. And finally, and this is key, use your two different styles as a team. Let the doer tackle the spreadsheets and let the talker handle those tough but necessary conversations with family. And through this whole process, please, remember this. You are absolutely allowed to feel both things at the same time. You can feel sad and heartbroken about what you're leaving behind, while also feeling strong and confident in the choice you're making to protect your future. It's not one or the other, it's both. So let's just recap the path we've walked here. It starts with just acknowledging that this grief is real. Then, understanding that the pressures are real too. It's not you, it's the economy. Then, you name your coping styles so you can actually work together as a team. And finally, you build a new plan, one small step at a time. The goal here isn't to make the sadness or the stress just vanish into thin air. It's about managing it. It's about making sure that these outside pressures don't end up damaging the things that matter most: your health, your relationships, and your own peace of mind. So, I'm going to leave you with this. You absolutely have the power to hold both the grief for what is changing and the hope for what comes next. Knowing that, what is the very first small step you're going to take to protect your peace?
If you want to continue exploring how to build that next secure chapter with a supportive community, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Next Cradle.